into a playoff matchup that everyone's had their eyes on. The Celtics and Nets. This game, game one, they ended in a buzzer beater. So of all things, it's already off to an accelerated start. Tonight, as we're recording this, is game two. I'm not sure when we'll drop this episode, but I'm sure it'll still be a close series whenever that is, as these two teams are just going back and forth. I mean, Kyrie is looking like a monster on a mission. He can play every game now. Kevin Durant was not very good in game one, but I expect him to bounce back the rest of the series. And outside of that, I don't really think like this is your prototypical 2-7 matchup. Obviously, I think it's not fair to really say if the Nets win that it was an upset. It's like both these teams are really good.
No, yeah, this is very much not like that. I mean, the Nets really play like a top 4 seed, honestly. And I think this is kind of the perfect test to see Celtics better team on paper. They fit together. They play better. They play by miles better defense, best defense in the league to one of the worst. But they also have a great offense. So on paper, it's an experiment of how far can two superstars carry you on the Nets side. I mean, two Hall of Fame type players. And so even though Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are obviously very good, they're superstars in their own right. But this is the perfect test. On paper, the Celtics should win. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not.
Robert Williams is out right now as well, so you got to take that into consideration. Yeah. And your defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart, just gave up 39 points to Kyrie in game one. So I think there's a strong possibility that the Nets will win this thing, and they are my pick to pull it off.
I don't, just because they're defensive player of the year, like they go matchup hunting and they'll do whatever they can to get Smart off of Kyrie. And a defensive player isn't, when you have a player like Kyrie, you can't stop Kyrie. You can't stop Kevin Durant. But you can do your best to make them uncomfortable, and that's what PJ Tucker did in the Nets series last year against the Bucks. And you can say like he affected Kevin Durant. Maybe Kevin Durant wouldn't have taken that extra step into the three-pointer, and then they wouldn't have gone to overtime, and then the Nets would have won that game. You never know, but like it's just those situations, and that's what Pat Bev does too. It's just making them uncomfortable. So I don't think that's the biggest solution, but I can also see the Nets taking this series. Robert Williams won't be back. They said he definitely won't come back in this Nets series. They said they're hoping to get him back by round 2. They're a little more confident than everyone else so that they'll make it to round 2. But
yeah, we'll see.
Somebody has to. I trust Udoka though. His defense has turned out to be great. I think they're gonna make changes just like Kyrie and Kevin Durant are going to make changes for this next game. Celtics have the better coach and a lot like by miles. He's first year and he's way better than Steve Nash. That some people might think that's unfair to say, but I think it's true.
Well, I think Steve Nash realizes that he coaches stars and he lets them do his thing. You know, today he was asked about what he thought about Kyrie flipping off the Celtics fans, and he said, how many points did Kyrie have?
Yeah.
39. He's like, well, I don't care what he does then.
Yeah.
He lets his stars be stars. And I think stardom is going to pull them through here. I may sound like an NBA casual for that, but believe it or not, I've been watching basketball since some of these fuckers have been in diapers. I'm old. Yeah. I'm like 82, just so we know.
But when has that worked out for like the team is when, I mean, granted, there's certain examples, stars, but to that extent, when a coach just says, all right, I'll let you guys do whatever, to the extent that Steve Nash
it's worked on like, it's worked on a lot of LeBron's teams, I'm sure. I mean, when he had Mike Brown, they didn't win a championship, but they made it to one. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but like, look what happened to the Lakers. I mean, Ty Lue has been proven that he is a great coach, even though he was quiet. He's a very quiet coach, and people thought, like at the time when he was in Cleveland with LeBron, I heard it all the time that they're like, oh, he's just a figurehead. He's just there to take. And
people just assume that because of LeBron and because he was, Ty Lue was such a young hire. But since he's been moved, everybody or since he's been with the Clippers, everybody's realized like, oh, this guy has some of the best rotation choices in the NBA. Like he knows how to make good adjustments. So in that way, he doesn't really let his stars be stars in that way. Like he'll go with the hot lineup, but he's had a lot of his stars injured too. Nash has had to deal with similar adversity here. Yeah, they ended up with the 8th seed, but he's had like the weirdest, troubles you could have as a coach. So, I applaud him for being able to stick through all that, and he's still got this team cohesive and looking really solid.
Right. Well, we'll see. I mean, this is the test, right? So one of these teams, it's crazy that one of these teams is going to get bounced in the first round. So.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. This could very easily be a Eastern Conference Finals. It'd be a really fun one. But this is going to be a really fun playoffs overall, and I've been watching like most games, so looking forward to seeing some more.
Yeah.
Yo, Strictly Ball Business. I'm Alec, and this is Dalton. We always talk about the NBA. Come join us, and let's have some fun.